Togo is just my next door neighbor. But it is easier for me, Martin, sitting down here, to send footwear, clothing, goods to Togo than it is for me to send money across to Togo. So these issues we are discussing about cross-border transactions, it's fintechs that can empower that. The banks have been with us for decades, for centuries. Have they been able to achieve that? From where I sit, I'm happy that there's a whole new generation that is coming up. They are going to go in head for head, toe to toe, and demand
for the best.
That is why we in this seat now need to be very careful what we do, what kind of policies we put in place. If it does not align to how they expect things to be done, there'll be chaos, there'll be riots, and no amount of intimidation, no amount of subjugation, no amount of limitation will stop them. The tools that were provided for them was the technology, the mobile phones. One thing I can tell you for a fact, African Union, that is actually leading or heralding this African Continental Free Trade Area, is largely funded by the West. Currently, Africa, our problem is the lack of unity. Africa, we don't use credit cards, we don't use debit cards that much. We're a mobile economy. We don't need up to 2060 to achieve the Africa we want. The Africa we want or we want to achieve has to be now and today.
Yes.
Any other time we are exposing ourselves to in the future, it's just putting a timeline for us to, excuse me to say, lazy around. So my name is Martin Kwame Awagah, and I'm the president of the Ghana Fintech and Payments Association, the leading fraternity of digital finance leaders and ecosystem in Ghana.
First thing we would like to look at is what are the challenges, right, within the fintech industry today, right? From your perspective, from an investor's perspective, from a user perspective, from a couple of stakeholders. And this is strategic for you because you are the powerhouse of all the stakeholders within the fintech industry. So,
yes. So first off, you mentioned that we can take it from the user's perspective, the developers or the fintech company's perspective, and that of the investors. The investors. But first and foremost, Ghana as a country, in as much as we have very good climate for business. I mean, when you look at the previous election, our smooth transition process was very, very nice. And that tells you the kind of political system and climate we have here. Very good for investment. Very good for product development. Very good for economic empowerment and growth. And so, yes, we first and foremost, Ghana as a country has that above some other countries in Africa. So we present that climate, a business-friendly environment to all who wants to come and invest here, stay here, or for any other reason there is. So we are always using this opportunity, anytime we get it, to invite businesses to come and establish in Ghana. Whether you are in the tech space, you're in the fintech space, you're in the whatever industry you are in. You know, we pride ourselves that we are building a fintech hub. We are building a technology or digital economy hub that would transcend other economies in Africa. So yes, I mean, the fintech space has some opportunities, and some challenges. The challenges, some has to do with institutional that we have here. And so from that front, I would say some of these institutional challenges are the high cost of internet or data. Okay, when you look at even the current ease of doing business, Ghana has fallen a bit, but that notwithstanding has affected the data costs and all these things that we need, all this infrastructure that we need to spearhead technological innovations and acceleration, particularly in the fintech space. So data cost is one of them. And that creates some form of barrier of entry for other segments of people. Then we also have the issue of electricity. For technology to thrive, you need frequent and uninterrupted power supply. But Ghana has done so well. We've done a lot. But currently in the media, we were, due to the handing over of power, we heard there's a possibility of doomsok, or the lack of power or energy or electricity for businesses to work issue. But what we are also looking at is the ability of the government to make sure that does not happen, and for which we have been assured that electricity provision and capacity increase or generation would rise, will be a top priority of the government. So yes, that's a challenge, but we are seeing a welcome news of it being curtailed. So I'll say that as both a challenge and then an opportunity. Because in some countries in Africa, particularly Nigeria, you know how the electricity situation is. Yes. So now we come to the user. Let's look at what the user, for every product that the Bank of Ghana or the regulators, how do you call it? For every product that they are able to license or provide regulatory provisions for, the most important thing in there is the trust, stability, and convenience that they can assure users.
Our money is safe.
Our money is safe. They safe. If I put my money on this platform, or if I trade with company A, B, or C, is my money safe? Can you assure me of its robustness to counter any threats, external or local threats? Okay, these are issues we are talking about. And then we are also looking at the issue of stability. How stable is the financial sector? And for time,
with respect to the currency now, or with respect to the businesses in the financial sector?
So I'll come to the aspect of the currency, but I'm currently talking about the aspect of the
businesses
currently. So when you talk about that issue, we are looking at is my currency safe in the sense of the stability that the industry gives me to operate in this ecosystem. So can I trust the central bank that, okay, if my money locks up somewhere, it can be retrieved from me? Okay. Yes. So all these things come into play. Now let's look at it from the perspective of the industry in terms of the safety or the stability. Ghana for a long time, or recently, our currency has been affected by some level of inflation.
Instability, yes.
Okay, instability in terms of hyperinflation. Okay, but in as much as that is the case, the World Bank has given us some hope that we will end this year, 2025, with not so much appreciation in the exchange rate, and that it will be stable. Okay, currently it's hovering around 15, 16 thereabout.
Yeah.
But we are optimistic, but that by the year ends, it will still around 17. 17. That's what it's. So yes, we are looking forward to some stability. But somewhere last year and the year before, there had been some hyper inflation in our currency. So that stability is a bit of an issue for any business leader. So yes, so this is some of the issues when it comes to some of the challenges, that these businesses face. And let's look at challenges for investors. Now, one of the things we are also preaching out there is that Ghana is a safe haven for businesses.
Yes.
Now, we are using the opportunity to call on investors to come and invest in particularly in the fintech industry. Sitting where I am, I have seen some of the applications that have been developed, some of the technology that young folks have developed. And I can tell you, they are amazing technologies. They are amazing platforms. Sometimes I sit where I am and I'm like, why don't our young ones and people who are developing these platforms get the needed support? And so it also means that most of the time we are selling ourselves short as a country, because some of these platforms are not being put out there that much. When you look at the dynamics of the economy, Nigeria basically has a bigger economy than Ghana. And so most of our things are flooded or, are covered by those kind of huge economies. And so we are not really seeing But this is the case. We are using this platform. We are going to be using these opportunities to put our voice out there and let them know that, we are ready for business. Because I've seen some technologies, I've seen some platforms that can rival any platform globally.
Okay.
On the blockchain side, on the cryptocurrency, on you name it.
Okay.
So fintech is something that we as an ecosystem, we as an industry are hoping to leverage on to achieve that, because the opportunities are endless. They are tremendous.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if we can create, you rightfully mentioned the Chinese case, that most of these products that have been developed are coming from the peri-urban to rural areas.
Yeah.
If we as Ghana or as Africans can leverage on such an equal platform or provide these opportunities for those people,
areas, yes.
Just imagine what can be achieved.
Yes.
Because that's where, you name it, the chunk or the basket of our foods in Africa doesn't come from the capital city or the cities.
Yeah.
It comes from the peri-urban to rural areas.
Yeah.
So that's where the focus needs to be. That's where the technology, innovation, the platforms, the education, the advocacy, the sensitization that needs to be done needs to be strongly activated.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looking at cybersecurity as a challenge, right? Have you experienced any major hacks recently?
Yeah.
And then, as an association, what are you doing? Both because sometimes cybersecurity issues are not just the company issues; they are also on a national scale.
Yeah.
Because of where most companies get their technology from. They have a national license, right? And if it's not safe on a national scale, it's going to be difficult for you to be able to create a safer system.
Okay. So when it comes to fraud, scams, and cybersecurity related issues, one of the things I like to say is, in as much as we are coming up with innovative products, in as much as you and I are looking for the good of the industry, are looking for the betterment and for the industry to thrive by, introducing new platforms, introducing new technologies, it is that same energy, enthusiasm, and zeal that some other persons are also building platforms to also, do something different. So we need to have that clear understanding that whilst your focus is here, somebody's focus is on, making sure they take out of the industry. And that is why for Ghana, one of the things we realized that needed to be done, which I think some other countries have not been able to do, was the introduction of the Cybersecurity Authority.
Yes.
We introduced an act passed by Parliament to come up with an authority or an institution that will handle cybersecurity related activities.
Okay.
And so somewhere last year, of course, and to answer your question, of course, every economy, once you are open to technological development and advancement, you'll be prone to cybersecurity related issues and frauds and scams and whatever. And most of the time, these people are not within your locality or are not within the four walls of your country.
Foreign sponsored.
Foreign sponsored. Okay, so we cannot take out that fact that every system has that affinity to be hacked into or to be compromised to cyber security attacks and what have you. So let's not take that out. Now, what we have done in Ghana is through that act. Now, all cybersecurity individuals or experts are supposed to be licensed by the commission or the authority. They are also supposed to get license or approval institution-wise from the authority. Okay, so that means we are building a robust ecosystem whereby everybody who would play in that field have some form of certification.
Yes.
Be it individual or institutional, to more like help identify the issues, curtail it before it becomes a national or a horrendous activity that we cannot handle. So yes, every institution has those have those kind of issues. Yes. So even last year, one of the things the authority did, which we were part, is to come up with a forum whereby some of these issues, as and when they come, can be discussed, we can find solutions to it and resolve it amicably and quickly as possible, you know. So that's some of the things that are being done around the cyber issues or attacks that we are identifying in our ecosystem.
Okay. There's a new administration now.
Yeah.
Right? And then what would be some of the things that you want to be able to put forward as priority for this new government to say, hey, you know what? We should prioritize some of these things, right? And so that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of the question would then be, how does Ghana become globally competitive? Which is, if Ghana wants to build a product today, can they build a product from scratch without any foreign company or foreign help? Right? Yes.
Okay. So your first question is, how are we interacting with the new administration in place? But one thing is certain, as an association, a voice of an industry, one of the things we did last year during the heat of the campaign was to engage both political parties. Okay. So we had engagement with the opposition, the current opposition or the previous government, the current outgone previous government, on what we can do to accelerate or put Ghana out there as one of the leading tech or fintech hubs across the continent. And we also engaged thoroughly the current government that just won power, for which the current president attended himself to listen to the issues. So we have done a lot of engagement, for which we hope to continue this engagement with the current government in power, because they have alluded to us. They have actually mentioned that they are ever ready to listen to us, to sit with us, and to find solutions to some of the nagging issues we have in this industry, not just for the fintechs, for crowdfund, for all the various aspects of the products that we are seeing, for cryptocurrency, stablecoin, Bitcoin, you name it. So we have had an extensive engagement since last year, and we are continuing to engage. And one of the things we hope going forward is how what their predecessors did not do and how they are going to do it better. So
what does success look like for you guys?
What does success look for us?
What are the policies you would see and things like that?
Is to make Ghana more of an inclusive fintech hub, not just for payments.
Okay.
Because we currently have an industry or a fintech industry that's overburdened with just payment systems. Okay, we need to move beyond that horizon and understand fintech does not only encapsulate or does not only include the category of payments, but other segments exist that we can take advantage of. So we are looking for, in terms of the success factor, we are looking to how, at the end of the day, we can say this government was inclusive. They created or came up with regulations or policies that enabled or opened the door for every fintech categorization to be operational, to be profitable, and to serve the needs of the ecosystem.
For me, that brings us to regulation and compliance.
Yeah.
Right? What are the regulatory or compliance framework currently in Ghana?
Currently, the leading, the main regulation leading the fintech ecosystem is that of the Payment Systems and Services Act. The Payment Systems and Services Act.
Okay.
Now, that act has categorized the payment industry or the fintech industry into various categories, where the highest is EMI, electronic money issuers, or DEMI, dedicated electronic money issuers, payment service providers, having been categorized into 4 different sections before the payment financial technology service providers. So that act provides a holistic view of the payment industry. But now we understand that technology is fast. I mean, last year we held an event, a program, whereby we got the fintechs involved, academia was involved. I mean, all the various stakeholders, even the regulators were there for us to debate on the issue of compliance and innovation. And at the end of the day, that event was actually organized in partnership with the association and other companies like KPMG and, private entities, whereby it came out that, in as much as we are seeing a lot of innovations, a lot of new technologies, blockchain, smart contracts, stable coins, you name it. There's a need for compliance to do its bit, to do as much as it can to catch up with all these new innovations that are coming up. So in terms of engagement, yes, we are engaging very well. In terms of how the regulations should be looked at, I think going forward, one of the things we hope to achieve is to provide the necessary policy or regulatory framework for digital access to thrive, for open banking, for crowdfunding, for buy now, pay later.
Now are not currently specified within your current.
Okay, so currently, last year, somewhere mid last year, the central bank came out with the draft guidelines for digital assets. So then, with that draft guideline out, the regulator was looking forward to ensuring that, based on that draft guideline, they take comments, responses, or feedback from industry.
Yeah.
Okay. So that process is still currently ongoing. Okay. And then, about 2 months or a month to the elections last year, they also came up with the open banking framework. Draft guidelines for open banking. Mm-hmm. So yes, we are expecting feedbacks. I mean, in terms of compliance, all these institutions are operating in Ghana.
Yeah.
So then, the regulator is doing its best to make sure it catches up with them and provide the needed stability and framework for which these companies or these institutions can work without, any issues with regulatory compliance and what have you. Yeah. And I can tell you for a fact, when we started, it was a tough job to be able to get the bank to understand, hey, this is what is happening. That's what you need to do. I mean, it wasn't easy from the beginning. I mean,
and even the telcos.
The telcos, yes. So it's you see, the fintech sector, for me, I see fintechs as a catalyst.
Yes.
Enabling the telcos, enabling the banks, enabling the microfinance and all other spectrums.
Yes, true.
So fintech is basically a catalyst. When you look at maybe a science equation or whatever, there's a catalyst there. Yes. That's where banks, the fintechs come in.
Yeah.
So that's a role for me they play in making sure that people are, or clients or individuals, or that financial transactions are strengthened. They are fast, they are convenient, and there's speed and there's this agility
within the
industry and in providing these services.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's a three-way marriage.
Yeah.
It's a bank and the telcos and the government.
Yeah.
But then the fintech company comes in the middle to connect all the dots.
Yeah. Yeah.
So serve the consumer.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So the fintech becomes that arm that is able to reach out to the consumer. And then for you to be able to do that, I see you organizing events like this.
Yeah.
To create that collaboration and that partnership with respect to the association.
Yeah.
What does the future look like? The future with respect to Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, AfCFTA. And the reason I would also say add that to it is currently Africa cannot trade with itself.
Yeah.
Right? The only platforms that are promoting Africa trading with itself is AfCFTA and
Afrexim Bank.
Yes, Afrexim Bank has a platform called Apps, right? And I see all of this happening, right? And what does that future look like for the association as one part of this question? And then for the other part of the question is still on Africa being able to interact with itself. Are we going to see the future looking like Ghana can now talk with Nigeria without necessarily going through MasterCard or a Visa or something like that?
Okay, so on that front, I think one thing we need to understand is Africa has a huge population. And this population is being driven by the young folks like you and I.
Yes.
Now, we have because of our huge youthful population, and this is not going to stop now.
No, it's not.
It's going to triple. It's going to double along the way. What do we do? This whole digital finance, fintech, digital technology drive is not being driven by people beyond the ages of 50, 60, 70 years. is being driven by the youths.
Yes.
That means we have a chunk of young people who are expecting to see things being done differently.
Yes, true.
That means it cannot be business as usual with the way we used to trade. Now, there's this whole narrative that, we need to understand one thing, that Africa in itself is not a cards economy in terms of the banking space, in terms of the financial sector. We are not a cards economy. Africa, we don't use credit cards, we don't use debit cards that much. Yes. We're a mobile economy.
Yes.
The youth are always on the go. They want to see things being done differently, like I said.
Yes.
So they prefer to do all this using their phone. Sometimes you go to places, you go to events, you go to programs, and you see most of the youths there are not even carrying any purse. Remember back in the day when we used to carry all our cards in our purses, our bags, and be running around with it. Currently, that is being that is moving out of the system.
Yes.
With just the phone. This is a whole encyclopedia. It's a whole internet. It's a whole email. It's a whole world on its own.
On its own, yes.
So anything and everything can be done on it.
True.
So we are in a time where the narrative is not being spearheaded by the old folks. It's been spearheaded by the young ones. So then we have to be able to do all we can to fit into that narrative.
Narrative, yes.
If we don't fit into that narrative, what happens? It means we're going to lose traction. We're going to lose business. Economic empowerment is going to be gone. And these people will blame us for not providing the necessary frameworks, the necessary environment for them to thrive.
Yes.
AfCFTA is one.
Yes.
And one of the things we also need to understand that finance is a rail on which everything else sits on or meets. Without a financial rail, you cannot eat. You cannot buy clothes. You cannot do a whole lot of things.
Sure.
So therefore, we need that system. Another thing we need to do is, when it comes to AfCFTA, I always say this is long overdue. I always say we don't need up to 2060 to achieve the Africa we want. The Africa we want or we want to achieve has to be now and today.
Yes.
Any other time we are exposing ourselves to in the future.
Just putting the timeline.
It's just putting a timeline for us to, excuse me to say, lazy around until that time gets there.
I agree. I agree.
So these issues we are discussing about cross-border transactions, it's fintechs that can empower that.
It's long overdue.
It's long overdue. It's fintechs that can make sure that is achieved. It's not the banks. The banks have been with us for decades, for centuries. Have they been able to achieve that? Have they been able to even reach the common man? Even if you come to Ghana, I mean, we are in Ghana presently.
Yes.
How many of the fintechs have products and services for those within 4, 5, 6 mile radius away from the city?
Away from the city.
They don't.
They are still largely cash-based.
So
economies.
Because they couldn't even achieve that. That's when you saw the microfinance institutions come in.
Small loans institutions.
Rural banks came in.
Yes.
But they still haven't been able to. But we are in a time where we've seen technology. Just by the use of a smartphone, internet connection, we can bridge all those gaps.
Yes.
So why don't we take advantage of it? Provide the services so that if I am sitting in Ghana, I can easily pay for a good in Uganda or pay for a service in Uganda.
Okay.
And it can be achieved. For instance, of course, we've had a discussion whereby, currently it is easier. Togo is just my next door neighbor. Togo. But it is easier for me, Martin, sitting down here, to send footwear, clothing, goods. It's easier for me to send even clothing, footwear to Togo than it is for me to send money across to Togo. And that narrative cuts across all the African continent, all the African countries.
Yes.
So we are at a time. See, there is no better time or there's no better place to be in this world than at this time in Africa. This is the time for Africa to lead the world.
Yes, I agree.
In technological innovations. Because some of the products that we are seeing are not going to serve, or some of the technologies that we are seeing, some of the products, some of the services in the technology space that we are seeing are not actually meant or are not going to serve the purpose of the West. They are actually meant to serve the interest of Africa. Talk about blockchain, whereby I can build a product right now on blockchain, and all I need to do, you know what, is to make sure I when I build that product, it cannot be tampered with by you. Because that has been our challenge as Africa in terms of growth, in terms of influence, external influences. So if I have a product that cannot be tampered with, that does not have any foreign or external influences, that is meant or built for this ecosystem, built for our people, we're talking about empowerment.
So should that not be what the governments are doing now? So for example, irrespective of how you want to innovatively build in Ghana, if you don't have a local-based cloud technology, you will need to use AWS or use any other cloud service that you find, right? How is the government seeing this? How are the associations interacting with the government to say, hey, their baseline technology that makes us truly independent?
Yeah.
How are we taking a step on this?
Okay, so currently I cannot speak for all the things that this incoming administration, because you bear with me, the focus or the priority areas for the previously outgone government and this current government differ. So definitely I cannot speak for all of them. But what we can do is to continue to send our message out there, sell whatever information we have to say, hey, you know what? Like today, what we did today in that conference, I mean, we got to understand that. We made people understand that. You know, stable coins, when you look at all the products that can be built with cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency offers, stable coins is the most viable one of them all. Okay. It provides economic empowerment. It provides ease of transactions.
Yeah.
It provides security, and it's even built on the blockchain.
Yes.
And to answer your question that, how we are not able to, maybe we cannot have all the technology. Of course, the world this day and age does not exist in isolation.
True. But we can build the ones that are truly African.
No, we can. That's why I brought in the issue of the blockchain.
Yes.
But irrespective, I mean, if you build a product on the blockchain, you still need some cloud technologies. You know, you need some other technologies that will complement what you've already built.
Well, is that not what has put us in at this point? So I'll give you an example.
You mean dependent on the...
Yes, still being dependent on a foreign influence based on infrastructure.
I won't say foreign influence entirely, but I am looking at the case, I'm making a case for the situation whereby we can fully understand, make governments understand the potentials, the benefits that blockchain in itself exudes.
Yes.
To achieve economic empowerment, growth and development.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But it doesn't mean we can achieve that or do that in isolation or in total disregard.
I am not looking at it from a position of in isolation.
Okay.
I'm looking at it from a position of, so for example, 2 years ago, Huawei phones went down because the US pulled out Android from all Huawei phones. And that killed that entire market.
Yeah.
So if you make local smartphones today in Kenya or in Ghana, right, it would still run on the Android OS.
Yes.
And if you don't have a truly African OS, if you don't have a truly African AI infrastructure, learning language models that are truly Africans from scratch, can you really have true technological power? Because I see what China did. Building their own Twitter, building their own Facebook, building their own everything.
You see, what on that front,
20 years after now, we are realizing that TikTok is becoming global and Facebook is dropping. Imagine they decided to only just use Facebook then. They would not be that innovative 20 years after.
Okay. So the Chinese miracle, as we call it, since you've been to the Chinese, I mean, since you've been to China and I've been to China as well, the Chinese miracle, as we call it, even that does not run in isolation of what the rest of the world
True.
You know, is experiencing.
True.
In as much as there are some blockades on some of the technologies or some of the products that can be used in China, it does not run in isolation of the rest of the world.
Yes,
we need to make that clear.
Oh, yes, it doesn't. Yes.
Okay. They may have their own products. They may have their own solutions, but they still depend, because the world is interconnected. They still depend on some of the technological provisions from India, from America.
They still use Android.
So we agree. So that's what I'm saying. You see, currently Africa, our problem is the lack of unity. Okay, the lack of unity. Even look at the Africa Continental Free Trade Area issue that we are talking about. How many countries have ratified?
Not a lot.
This issue has been ongoing for some time now. But for trade to work in Africa, we need all African countries to jump on board. But currently, we don't have that consensus. So consensus building is very important. And we are still limited. I cannot build a platform for Africa when I know that it might not be used in Nigeria, when I know it might not be used in Cote d'Ivoire, because we are one people, yes, which we all agree, but we have been disintegrated by borders, by language.
Yes. But should we not be building it either ways?
We should be building it. So when we build it, that is where the African unity or union is important. It's important.
Yes.
That's where we need to make Africans see that it's not business as usual. Because, listen, I do business in the Caribbean, and maybe in 2 weeks' time, I'll be in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Okay. But for me to even leave Africa to enter the Caribbean, it's a hassle. Meanwhile, we are forgetting the Africans, or the Caribbeans, the Caribbeans are basically an extension of, not predominantly. They are an extension of Africa. My wife is Caribbean.
Yes.
My wife is a Caribbean, and we met in China as well.
Oh, lovely.
So I've traveled and I've seen what's happening elsewhere. And I think, listen, I always say we are at the precipice of Africa's growth, evolution, and development with technology.
Yes.
If we miss this window of development, if we miss this window of using technology to provide the required base, okay, to uplift our people out of poverty, we will not get it again. Because then it would have gone out of our hands. So this is the time, now more than ever, to talk of African unity, the development of one front for the usage of similar products across borders and technology.
Yes.
I mean, leveraging on technology, of course.
Yeah.
To achieve the desired goals of this continent. Otherwise, we'll still continue to be limited by the powers that divide us.
True. And those powers that divide us they are not dividing us without our consent.
They are dividing us with our consent.
With our consent.
Yeah.
Which is
currently, I can tell you for a fact, as an African, even with the current AfCFTA in place, why should I pay a visa to enter Togo? I mean, one of the things the outgoing government did, of which I'm proud of, is to take away visas for people coming into Ghana. So the rule was any African coming into Ghana, you don't need to pay any visa.
Yes.
Visa fee. Why do we still have these limitations across borders?
So, in wrapping up, really, my concern currently is that we are not building for Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying let's build African products, right? But if we can build things that help Africans stand up better, right?
Yeah.
So, let's say, for example, there is a Ghanaian company making mobile phones, right? There should not be a reason why any ministry should buy mobile phones from anywhere.
Exactly.
Even if those mobile phones are not good, let's use it till we can make it better.
Yeah.
what people forget is 20 years ago, nobody wanted to touch China's product.
But now
they have a sales surplus of billions of dollars.
Yeah, I think, you see, most importantly, in this journey, we need to consider the issue of mindset. Africans, unlike any other race, have been brainwashed over and over and over again over so many things about the color of their skin, to start with.
True.
About the lack of the fact that they do not have superior intellect.
True.
So there have been that continuous strengthened effort to always ridicule, to always demean the African character. Anywhere you go.
Yes.
And in that process, we have accepted time and time again that anything African
is not the great.
It's not great. It's inferior. And time and over again, we have also proven to the world at large that Africa has everything it takes to be a superpower. So it's an issue of a mindset game, where I believe to a large extent, we need people who understand why we need to work for ourselves. A lot of the African presidents or leaders you see around are puppets from the West. So they'll continue doing the bidding of the paymasters. And one thing I can tell you for a fact, African Union, that is actually leading or heralding this African Continental Free Trade Area, is largely funded by the West.
In fact, most African countries are not even remitting their contributions to them.
Do you understand? So we have a lot of limitations against us. And that is where we need to start. And that's why I am happy. From where I sit, I'm happy that there's a whole new generation that is coming up.
Yes.
That, excuse my word, don't give a rat.
Yes. They are not going to take things that we took.
Things like we did.
Yes.
They are going to go in head for head, toe to toe, and demand
for the best.
That is why we in this seat now need to be very careful what we do, what kind of policies we put in place. If it does not align to how they expect things to be done, there'll be chaos, there'll be riots. So we need to be very careful. It's not going to be, and no amount of intimidation, no amount of subjugation, no amount of limitation will stop them. There's a whole, and these people, I like the fact that you see, the tools that were provided for them was the technology, the mobile phones.
Yes.
The technology that was provided for them is what have made them empowered.
Better. Yes. Yes, true.
And I think a lot of African leaders are not seeing that direction from, you see, the Gen Zs, you may call it now, Gen Alphas, Gen Betas that are coming up. They are setting their own trajectory. They are setting their own future. They are setting their own agenda.
Yes, true.
So if we as builders, technology leaders, enthusiasts, are not building products and services that will serve their need, their immediate need, not their future need. They want it now.
Now.
They're not saying in 2065, in 2060. They're not saying that.
True.
They're saying we want it now.
True.
If you cannot guarantee that level of, look at what happened in Kenya.
Kenya, yes.
Look at what happened in Nigeria.
Yes.
It is an indication of what is to come.
What is to come, what people will not take from governments moving forward. So in wrapping up, right? What message do you want us to convey on behalf of the Fintech Association of Ghana?
The Fintech fraternity in Ghana.
Yes.
One of the things I would like to say is they should watch out. Ghana is going to become a model for fintech innovation, growth, development, investment, and adoption of technology-enabled solutions for the financial sector. And so this is something that I think the world should take a keen and closer look at Ghana and look at how we are going to, realign the government's focus, the industry's focus, stakeholders' focus to building a strong, robust financial sector that works for all stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.